back. My name is Morgan. This is my channel, Pisces Paperbacks, and today I'm starting another vlog. It's Pride themed. Happy Pride. It's the first weekend of Pride, and today is actually the day that Philadelphia's Pride Festival happens. So I'm planning on going to check that out today. It's going to be super fun, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about the books that I might read this month. I've been talking about it, I've been tweeting about it. I'm planning on reading only gay books this month, which I read queer books throughout the entire year, but it's just fun to know that I have a selection of gay books that I own to choose from. So let's get into it. Let's start off. First, I'm gonna say that the books that I'm in the middle of right now are Hell Followed With Us by Andrew Joseph White. I've mentioned this in my last vlog. This is about a trans boy who's escaping a religious cult in a post-apocalyptic world. This is a horror sci-fi situation. I'm very excited. It's supposed to be really good, and I'm still only 30 pages in, so I haven't read any of this week, but I'm planning on getting into it soon. It's also by a trans author, which is really fun. And then I also have the audiobook for A History of Fear by, I think, Luc Dumas. I did not know if this was a queer book, and I was like, oh no, am I already gonna mess up my plan for the month? But I looked on Goodreads, and LGBT and queer are two of the shelves that people have shelved this book on Goodreads. So I'm in the clear. I'm winning. As for the rest of this month, there are only two books that I know I need to try and read, and that is Harrow the Ninth and Nona the Ninth. I have been wanting to read these since this came out, which was last year in September, and I just haven't done it. And I want to read Harrow first because I know that these books are kind of confusing. So I'm going to reread Harrow this month and then read Nona the Ninth. These are the sequels to Gideon the Ninth in the Locked Tomb series, and it's about necromancers and space, and everybody's a lesbian, and they're so delightful and wonderful and fun, and maybe possibly my favorite thing ever. So I'm very excited about that. Then when I was like, what other books am I planning to read this month? I got a little overexcited, and I just kind of grabbed a whole bunch and my Kindle library. So I'm just gonna quick fire be these are the ones I might read this week, and we'll probably try and read this month. Calling Dr. Laura. This is a graphic memoir about a lesbian, and it was a gift from my brother. Satisfaction Guaranteed by Karelia Stetz-Waters. This is about two women who end up co-owning a sex toy store. So into that. One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. Lesbians in New York. Stuck out of time on the subway. Everybody knows about this book. I started it last year, but I was getting a little bored, so I might try and get the audiobook. The Affair of the Mysterious Letter. This is a fantasy romance by Alexis Hall, who is a trans author who also wrote A Lady for a Duke, which was one of my only 5-star books last year. I have a bunch of books on my Kindle that I plan on reading this month. The one that I actually plan on reading specifically, I bought it recently because it was on sale and I want to read it. Home Field Advantage by Dahlia Adler. This is a YA romance about a girl who's a cheerleader and a girl on the football team, so that sounds really cute. And then also Heart Haunt Havoc, which I think is a gay horror YA fantasy situation. Freshwater by Akwaeki Emezi, which is more about gender identity, I think. And then I also have the second book in the Big Bad Wolf series. This is The Wolf at Bay. This is about the gay werewolf FBI investigators. So I just said a whole lot of books, and I don't think I'm going to get through all of them because who knows what other audiobooks are also going to come in and what I'm going to be in the mood for. But for sure, no doubts, it's going to be an extremely gay month. I love to be gay. And I love Pride. It's the second best month of the year. First month is October, Halloween. I love that. Anyway, let's go! I just got back from taking Marcy on a walk. It's 2:30 right now. So I watched the march. I walked around a little bit. It was so fun. I went by myself, but I ended up hanging out with this guy named Robbie that I met. So it was super fun. I'm back home now. I was thinking about changing into something a little sluttier than what I was wearing this morning, but the choice was taken out of my hands because I got something on my shirt. So this is the new fit. It's also a green crop top, but this time it's a little bit more risque. Anyway, I wanted to tell you guys what A History of Fear by Dumas is about. It is about this guy named Grayson who was accused and convicted of murder in Scotland. And he was convicted based off of this confession that someone anonymously sent in to the press. And it kind of said that he had been seduced by the devil and led by devilish influences to commit these murders. And then now, I think it's been a couple of years since his conviction, he was found dead in prison, and there was a stack of papers on his, in his cell that were his memoir of the events. So what the book is, it starts with a foreword from the reporter who broke the story on the murders he committed, and she is publicizing or publishing these papers that were found in his cell, and then she has footnotes and interjections from interviews with people that he had met in the past or transcripts from his therapy appointments. So it's kind of also mixed media. I think I'm 20% in, and I am enjoying it so far. It has a full cast of audiobook narrators, so it's not like every single speaking part, every single line of dialogue has its own voice actor, but the chapters that are from the memoir are from a specific narrator, and then the chapters are interviews. All those characters have narrators, and so it's very well done. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. Hi, gay. It's the next day. Also, I just wanted to address what's gonna be the elephant in the room. You are never gonna see me not wearing these ever again. They keep my ears so warm and cozy, and I just feel like I'm wrapped in a blanket right now, and I'm just wearing headphones. I literally sometimes just wear my AirPods without anything playing because I like that they keep my ears warm, and this is even better than that. So that's my new thing. Anyway, it's Monday afternoon. I am halfway through A History of Fear, and I think I told you the general premise. Elsa is really interested in my new little tripod I have that my phone is on. So she's just really trying to get over there. Very inquisitive cat, I can't begrudge her curiosity. Anyway, I told you the general premise of A History of Fear, which is the whole prison memoir thing, account of the murder. But the plot is that the accused, the guy who killed his classmate and died in prison, his name is Grayson, and it's about him growing up with a very religious family. His father was a preacher, and then when his father dies, possibly by suicide, he feels that to connect with his father, he's going to go to Scotland and study, I don't know, whatever, to get his master's, because his dad studied there after graduating from college very briefly, and in a note that he left for Grayson, he mentioned wanting to go back to where it started in Scotland. So he's now there trying to find a way to make money, and he ends up making a deal with a guy named DB to help him write a book about the history of fear, or the devil, in Scotland. And he has an intense fear of the devil, and has had one since he was a child, that involves possible visual and auditory hallucinations, and he's just becoming increasingly paranoid. So I'm really not loving it, but I'm very intrigued, and I think it's moving pretty quickly. I like the audiobook narrator. I like that there's multiple narrators for the different sections, and yeah. So what I'm doing now is I'm not going to listen to any more of the audiobook today, but I'm actually going to a live podcast thing tomorrow with my friend Tatiana, and they're going to be discussing an episode of The Bachelorette, season 8, episode 5. So my plan is to watch that and study up, and maybe tomorrow I'll listen to 1 or 2 other podcasts from these people so I get a sense of the vibe. But since, the episodes are kind of long, I also have this that I'm going to read. According to the inside cover, as a young adult, like in college, she goes to see a psychic who tells her that the man she thought was her father was not, and it's revealed to her that she's actually adopted. So it's part coming of age and grappling with identity, and part coming out story. And I actually started like the first chapter a while back, so I do know that she's queer because it starts off with her kissing a girl in the first chapter. So I have no hesitation to read it this month. But yeah, it's black and white. It has varying styles. Like this one's a little bit more simplistic in this chapter, but then other chapters are going to be a little bit more detailed. Yeah. Hello, I'm an hour into my episode. I'm halfway through this, and I'm hanging out with my little kitty cat. It took me a second to figure out where to put my phone. Basically, like I told you, this book is about her coming out, but also coming of age and learning about her actual biological father. But I will say, this book is only 250 pages. I'm 130 pages in, and she has not yet begun to unravel the story of her family history. So far, we're really just learning a lot about her childhood. She had an abusive stepfather with like in a violent household, and just different things about her family. So it's a little bit more hard-hitting than I was expecting, but it still does have like funny moments. And then it's kind of interspersed with the present day timeline, which is her as a young 20-something in a relationship with someone named Radar, who I guess is going to help her unravel the whole thing about her father, but as of right now seems to not be the greatest person to be in a relationship with. Oh, she just did a little stretch. Oh my goodness. Hi. I'm enjoying it. I definitely think I can finish it tonight. It's only about 9 o'clock. I'm not trying to rush, but it also doesn't take me very long to read graphic novels. Elsa! Good morning. I have to leave for work in like 10 minutes, but I'm going to do some super quick makeup and talk to you about Calling Dr. Laura by Nicole J. Georges. Basically, I think my overall thoughts were that it's much sadder than I was expecting. For some reason, I thought it was going to be more funny. Sorry, I have like a red light right here. A father and his son are waiting for the light, like right outside my window. Anyway, I thought it was going to be more funny, but it ended up being pretty serious. A lot of it deals with the traumatic childhood that the author experienced, with a lot, like an abusive stepfather, and then just an extremely toxic, complicated relationship with her mother. And then in like the current timeline, a lot of the book is spent talking about her toxic relationship with her girlfriend Radar. Just like wasn't a very good relationship, and it's just kind of sad to read. Not to mention the book then ends, like the epilogue ends on like a really big downer. Like it ends on a very sad note. So yeah, I don't know. I think I'm going to give it 3 stars. Like, I did like it, but it just wasn't what I was expecting, and I didn't love it as much as I have loved other things that I've read, other memoirs that I've read even this month. So I think 3 stars, but also I feel weird like rating it. I don't know. I didn't end up having a whole makeup routine worth of stuff to say about the book, but I just wanted to show you guys how good I ended up looking. Hello, I am about to leave to go to the live podcast thing with my friend, but before I do, I want to give you a little update because I finished A History of Fear today, and I liked it. I think overall my biggest critique, which is really the thing bringing down the rating, is that it's too long. Like, it's not even that long of a book. It's like 360 something pages, but it just felt a little dragged out in some places. It ends up being just the main character Grayson's a painstaking account of his descent into mania and then violence. And I mean, there's kind of like a reveal at the end, but it's really heavy-handed in its hinting leading up to that. So you're kind of just like waiting for this reveal, like for what feels like forever, even though you know he in his own narrative will never admit it, so you have to wait till the end. I would say that it's a literary horror, but I would say it's more on the genre side of that with some of its campiness, even though like it's kind of high concept. But if you're interested in like possession stories, I think also this would be interesting to you, the reader. Yeah, I gave it like 3.5, 4 stars. It's solidly on like the good side, and I will be like including it in recommendation videos, but it's not like my perfect horror, you know what I mean? So I really liked it. I have the audiobook for Hell Followed With Us. I like that I pointed. If I'm gonna put in the picture when I literally have it here. I have the audiobook for this, so I might start listening to this now. I also have the audiobook for One Last Stop, so one of these is gonna be my next audiobook, so we'll see. Also, if you're wondering how weird my cat is, she likes to sit on top of the... Oh, she's gone. She ran up there. This is not one of my best looks, but a lot has happened since we last spoke. I think I last updated you right before leaving to go out last night. I went to go see Love to See It Live, which was great. They recapped an episode of The Bachelorette. They had the host of Normal Gossip as their guest, and it was honestly so fun. They like were hanging out after to talk to people, and my friend is a big fan, so we stuck around. But they were super friendly. We talked to them for like several minutes, so it was very nice. And then I came home. I don't know about when you're gonna, if it's still gonna be an issue. Hopefully not. But the air quality is fucked. These are the pictures of my walk home today. I usually am able to very clearly see the full skyline. It was so hazy. And I took my dog on a walk, and I was like, my eyes are stinging. I'm getting a headache. So I bought some more masks, and I also am probably going to order an air purifier. Anyway, I am listening to the audiobook of Hell Follows With Us, and I am 20% in. Hold on, let me see. 37% in, which equals being on page 146, also in the middle of chapter 12. So I am very much enjoying this. I told you what it's about generally, but I'm really enjoying this. I've gotten to a scene where I'm like, oh my god, like, get a grip. But I think it's so interesting. It's so fun. I love Benji. I love Nick. I love all their friends, although sometimes there are a couple that I get mixed up because I'm listening to the audiobook, which it makes it harder for me to remember people's names. I'm really enjoying this, and I love how, like, bloody it is. It's just very visceral with descriptions of, like, gross. And it's, like, it is bloody and gory in, like, the way that you would imagine, but it also has that speculative element of the horror where Benji, you find out very early on in the book, has been infected by some sort of like almost bioweapon by the religious cult that he was raised in. And the way he talks about the feeling of this infection affecting his physical body is just so like crunchy and like squishy. Oh, I'm very much into it. And I think the audiobook is very good too. It has multiple narrators. There's only been one section that was from a different perspective, so I'm interested to see if there's going to be more sections that are from others' perspectives when the vast majority is from Benji's perspective. So yeah, I don't know. I'm feeling like it's a winner, guys. I'm feeling like I have a winner on my hands. Hello, it's the next day around like 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock. Jesus, time flies. Anyway, I wanted to give you a couple updates. One, I'm 90% done with Hell Followed With Us. I'm loving it. I'm thriving. I'm living. You know in horror movies when the sound effects are like particularly juicy? That's what this book is like. And I love it. I'm really, really enjoying it. So I just wanted to get that in before I finish, just in case the end totally like shits the bed. But yeah, I'm really very much enjoying it right now. And I also wanted to show you this. I have packing taped together a homemade air purifier, and I wanted to show you because it does look better outside and it doesn't smell as bad, but like I live with animals who can't wear masks, and I'm trying to purify the air in my apartment so that, because I have some leaks and stuff. So I just wanted to show you. I went to the hardware store and I bought 4 of these air filters. I think technically I should really have picked the ones that have wrinkles and are a little thicker, but they were totally out of the ones that size, like the size that I need. So I just went with the flat ones, and they're taped into like a cube. Let me see if I can show you. It's like a cube that's taped together. Like this has packing tape on it, so it's sealed, and you just have it run with the air coming out this way so that the airflow goes through filters. And I think it's working. I don't know, I've only finished it a couple minutes ago, or like half an hour ago, but this is what I found this online in a thread of somebody on Twitter who's like, yeah, I'm from California and we have wildfires, and here is some pointers. It's much cheaper than buying an air purifier online. I still do believe that the ones that are like the accordion, I don't know, what was that called? The folded ones are more effective, but they didn't have any. So yeah, that's the update for now. I'll let you know when I finish Hell Followed With Us, which will be soon. I'm obsessed. Hello again. It's been a little bit. I finished Hell Followed With Us while I was eating dinner. I really loved this book. I think the end was like, it's not that it was too fast. Everything that needed to happen happened. I just wish that there was like one more chapter after where it ended. It was just like a little bit sudden for me, even though like the climax and, you know, falling action had happened. But I really, really like this. I'm probably going to give it like 4.5 stars. I think this is my best outing with YA that I've had in quite a while. So I'm thinking back, and I think of all the YA I've read this year, this is definitely my favorite, for sure. I also put on a little lipstick because it was just sitting on my table. That's why I look like I'm wearing lipstick. It's the Glossier G Suit in Shift, but it's faded because I ate dinner. Anyway, I loved this, and what I'm gonna do now is take my dog on a quick walk around the block. I'm really trying to keep our walks as short as possible until there's some sort of news that the air quality has improved and cleared up, and even though it looks like it has, I don't trust it. Did you hear that slamming noise? Anyway, like I said, I'm going to take Marcy on a walk, and then I'm going to come back, get ready for bed, and then I want to cozy up with my dog and read for a little bit before I fall asleep. I have the audiobook for One Last Stop, so I'm just going to listen to the audiobook of that. I don't need to read it physically. I will listen to that tomorrow at work, and I will maybe get a little bit more progress in. I did start reading it a while ago, and according to this bookmark, I got 53 pages in, so not very far at all, and barely, like nothing had happened yet. It'll be fine to start from the beginning. But when I'm going to read physically, I'm finally going to do it. I'm going to start my reread of Harrow the Ninth. Not that I've been putting it off, but I've been intending to read this since like October, and it's June. So I'm going to read this, and I'm going to start it tonight, and it's going to be great. So, hello, it's the next day. It's about 6 o'clock. I'm about to feed Marcy dinner, and then I'm going to probably go get a gel manicure and pedicure just because my nails are looking grody right now. But I wanted to give you another update. I feel like this vlog is just going to be like this the whole time with no B-roll or me doing anything. But I wanted to tell you about One Last Stop because I started listening to the audiobook today. So like I told you last night, I did start to read this when I first bought it, and I made it to page 52. I gotta be honest, these first 60 pages, or whatever the equivalent is in the audiobook, are absolutely the most boring part. It's a weird romance. First of all, why is it this long? I don't feel like any romance really needs to be over 400 pages. This is 418 pages, so it's on thin ice. But also, I really don't think any romance needs to be over, like, 350 pages. And that, like, obviously adjusts with formatting. But honestly, a 12-hour audiobook, I'm, like, halfway through the audiobook, and I feel like I should be approaching the 75% mark. But I still have 6 hours left, and I'm only halfway through. I'm really enjoying this. It's kind of weird because, so this is about August. She's just moved to New York and she's just trying to figure out like what she wants to do with her life. And she's a little unmoored. So she's been in school just transferring college to college for like 4.5 years, and she transfers to University of Brooklyn College. I don't know what it's called in here. And she finds an apartment with a couple and another guy, and it's kind of like a queer found family friend situation, and she gets a job at this local pancake diner, and she develops a subway crush on a girl named Jane, who is like a hot butch Asian lesbian. Like, she's sexy. And August is like, oh my god. And through getting to know Jane, she realizes that there's something not quite right with her, that being that she is actually stuck out of time from like 1976. So the book is kind of them getting close, learning about each other, but also figuring out how to get Jane off of the train because she's like stuck on the subway. And Jane is odd because she kind of like isn't a person. Like, she really doesn't have like a backstory or personality, but also she's just kind of like a manic pixie dream girl, like, for August. But also the best parts of this book are like when they're making out. It's just like Casey McQuiston really stepped up the steam, I think. Actually, I don't know. It's been a while since I've read Red, White, and Royal Blue, so I don't know. It's probably an equivalent to that, but I'm really enjoying this at the halfway point, although it feels a little long. I just think this could have been tightened up, but I am enjoying it. I don't think, unless the ending really blows me away, I think the best this can get is like a 4.5, 4. So we'll see how much I like it. But I had to stop listening to it at work because I started blushing. I was like, oh my god. So yeah, I am definitely enjoying it. I love lesbians. I understand the critiques of this book for sure. But it's Pride Month. I'm feeling very gay. And I love, in the beginning when August, like the first few times that August and Jane are interacting, and the way she's talking about Jane, I'm like, oh my god. I'm in love with her too. Like, relatable. So, yeah, I'm having a really good time. I'm listening to it. I'm enjoying it. Yeah. I've returned to the same angle, but it is like an hour and a half later. Anyway, I got my nails done. They are a lighter color than I anticipated. I thought it was going to be a slightly darker kind of iris purple. And I'm not going to show you my feet, but there is also a lighter color than I wanted. I think I'm just bad at picking nail polish colors. I have to think darker than I want to compensate for like the way eyes work. Yeah, I was trying to go for like a darker red, and it is fully Christmas on the toenails. I got to wear my headphones and listen to my book, so it was fine. Honestly, it was very nice. I would go again, and I'm also loving the book. I'm like 65% in now, and I really enjoyed it. They've officially started banging on the subway, which is a little gross, but you know, there's time travel, so I'm suspending my disbelief that wherever they happen to be is nice and clean and does not smell. Oh, let me tell you my plans for the weekend. Tomorrow, I'm thinking I want to get my hair cut. Self-care weekend, apparently. But I want to get my hair cut tomorrow, and then I'm also really wanting to see the new Spider-Man movie. So hopefully I will find time to do that as well. Bye! Also, my only thing about this audiobook is that I was not a fan when I first started. I don't particularly love the voices that the narrator is choosing to do for the characters, especially the side characters, like August's roommates. But after listening to 9 hours of the audiobook, sped up obviously, but 9 hours worth, it's like tolerable. I've moved past noticing that she's doing weird voices except for, like, occasionally she'll, like, suddenly have, like, a transatlantic accent in one line. I don't really know. So if you're going the audiobook route, I do recommend, like, sticking it out a little bit if the voices are immediately annoying, and if you don't start to get used to them, then it's not worth it. Just read it physically. But there was no chance I was going to get through it physically because those first 60 pages were boring. And I would have been bored and put it down after 60 pages again. So that's my tips. Okay, so I haven't finished the book yet, but I wanted to document this. There's still like 7% left to fix it. But the emotional roller coaster I have gone on with this book, from not liking it to being bored, to liking it, to it being steamy, then getting bored again, and now I'm crying. And I can't breathe through my nose because I'm upset. And that's what happens. And I can't, my bangs. Ugh. I think I was also really nervous that Casey McQuiston was, like, not going to pull through after having Red, White, and Royal Blue. Like, it was one of my favorite books of 2020. And has been, like, a mainstay. I was worried that maybe they wouldn't be able to deliver again. And they have clearly delivered on a book that's affecting me emotionally. So, maybe I'll update you when I finish in, like, 20 minutes, but maybe not. I don't know. I'm feeling a lot of feelings. This has really ended up being the vlog of like a million terrible camera angles. Anyway, good morning. It is bright and early on Saturday. It's not that early. It's like 10 o'clock. And I meant to be getting out earlier than this, but whatever. I'm planning to go get my hair cut. It's been almost a year since I got my hair done, and I really need to trim. I have a lot of like dead ends, and I just feel like if I want to keep growing my hair longer, I need to maintain. So I'm gonna be actually just going to Supercuts. It's down the street. I just have to take the bus down, and it'll be nice and easy. I'm hopefully gonna go see Spider-Man later today, which is, you know, I'm representing, and then I maybe will go read in the park. I know I said earlier that the highest one last stop can be is like 4.5, but I really ended up loving this, but I don't want to rate it too high just because I cried, because I cry over everything, you know what I mean? Alright, I'm gonna go out and I will take you along perhaps, and see you later. Okay, here's the deal. I need to leave like right now to go see Spider-Man. My showing's at 4 o'clock and it might take me the full half hour to get there. But I wanted to let you know that there was a vegan market, like vegan festival happening outside of the Supercuts. So I walked around there and I got like a fun, yummy smelling body wash. And then I went to Spruce Street Harbor Park where I ate a chocolate croissant and drank a fine latte. And I read like 45 pages of Harrow the Ninth. I love this book. I was literally like on the second chapter and already like noticing or processing things that I hadn't noticed the first time I read this book, which I did read with an audiobook the first time, which I've been told makes it a little bit harder for like full comprehension. I'm here to confirm that to you because there was stuff I already did not pick up on the first time. I'm like, did I even read this book? I love this series. Oh my god, but it's beautiful and warm outside. I put on sunscreen, don't worry. I also wanted to let everybody know that I tabbed One Last Stop every scene where they kiss and the love confessions because I am gay and a romantic. And I loved this book. So that's it. I'm gonna go see Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I haven't seen the first one since 2019, 2018. So it's been a while. I remember it. It was amazing, but it's been a while since I've seen the first one. Hopefully I will just pick right back up on the second one, and I will see you later. I'm gonna read a little bit this evening, and then I'm gonna wrap this vlog up tonight, I think, because it's been going on a full week, which is longer than I usually do these. So, see you later! Hello, I'm just gonna wrap this vlog up. Elsa's being naughty, so I'm just gonna try and hold her. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse was phenomenal. It was beautiful. It was funny. It was interesting. It was so good. I'm furious about how it ended. Like, I can't believe that. I mean, it felt like it wasn't that. I know that I complain all the time, maybe not on YouTube videos, but all the time I complain about movies being too long now. Across the Spider-Verse is 2 hours and 20 minutes long. It felt like an hour, and I was like, that's it? Where's the rest of it? I'm so excited for the sequel coming out next year, but I'm also so mad that they're making us wait a year for the sequel. Although I'm grateful that they must have obviously made both movies simultaneously so that we can actually even get it next year. Anyway, let's talk about books. So, the first thing that I read this week, I'm just going to pop the picture up here. I read A History of Fear by Dumas, and I'm going to give this book like a 3.5, but rated a 4 on Goodreads. It's solidly in the books that I would recommend to people if they're looking for a horror that specifically has, like, unreliable narrators and stuff with, like, the devil and religious trauma. I think it was an interesting kind of literary take on psychosis, and while I liked it, I definitely think it was a little long. It could have been shortened in some places and not quite as drawn out, but I did like it. I feel like the thing that's, like, the reveal at the end was kind of not obvious. I mean, obvious, but, like, it was getting hinted at for so long that after a certain point I was like, just come on, just say it. But I can't say it because it's kind of a spoiler. Anyway, I'm gonna say like 3.5, 4 stars, closer to 3.5. Then I read Calling Dr. Laura by Nicole J. Georges. This is a graphic novel. I've told you about it already, and I'm gonna give this like 3 stars. I didn't really enjoy reading it that much, but I also like understand the value here, and I didn't not enjoy it, you know what I mean? And then I read Hell Followed With Us by Andrew Joseph White. This 4.5. Oh my god, I loved this. I thought this was so fun. It was so gross. It was so dark. Again, religious trauma. I will say that as someone who is Jewish and grew up Jewish, there's like a lot of Bible quotes in here, and I listened to the audiobook, so I couldn't skip them. But if I had been reading it physically, I probably would have skipped them. I'm just like, I love horror that has to do with religion, like possessions, demons, cults, etc. But, like, I don't care about Christianity. So it's when there's actual, like, just tons of Bible quotes. And it's relevant. Like, I'm not saying that it was a waste of space in this book. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that for me personally, I probably would have skimmed that a little bit. And then, I read One Last Stop, baby. Oh my god. Also probably going to be a 4.5, which is kind of embarrassing because I actually looked on Goodreads and I had a, like, starting read to read date in November of 2021. I've owned this since it came out, basically, and it's taken me this long to read it. I just didn't think I was gonna like it that much. I know that's ridiculous for how much I loved their first book, and, you know, I love not time travel, but this is almost like it's adjacent to a ghost romance, and I love ghost romances. I totally and completely understand all of the major and very valid critiques of this book and the reasons people don't like it. And I agree, like, completely. It is too long. The time travel stuff, like the speculative aspect, it really, if you think about it too hard, it doesn't make sense. There's just some stuff in here that you're like, why? But I had such a good time reading this, and it hit my emotions basically, and if something makes me cry like that, I can't not give it like a 4.5, you know what I mean? Like I can, but it's gonna take me months, and if I look back in like 6 months and I'm like, what was that even about? Then I'll lower the score, but for now, 4.5, and I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads, so yeah. The last thing left is that I have started my official reread of Harrow the Ninth. I've been meaning to reread this since I reread Gideon the Ninth last year, and I'm finally getting to it. I'm 69 pages in. I'm obsessed with this book. I mean, if there's anybody in my entire life who doesn't know how much I love this series, it means that they haven't spoken to me since January of 2021, which is when I read Gideon the Ninth for the first time. That is it. That's all the stuff I read this week. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you've been reading for Pride, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!